Today is Saturday, March 19, 2022. Let's analyze what the stock market did yesterday, Friday. This is the daily chart of the S&P 500. For the record, I'm still long the S&P 500. I ended up selling another quarter of my original position. So now I only have one quarter left of my original position. I know some of you guys are curious why and where I sold. At the open, this was the open, and I ended up selling one quarter of my position here when it dipped around 44.10. This high, I was thinking this was a high for the day, that it was not going to be able to push above the 50-day moving average, so I did not give it enough room. Ended up selling, and after that dipped a little lower and trended higher all day long, closing very strong for the day. I just felt like I'm leaving too much money on the table, but rules are rules. I like booking profits along the way. Back to the daily, pushing up against very strong resistance for Monday. The We have the 200-day moving average and very strong resistance here right under 4,500. If for some reason we gap higher tomorrow, I should say Monday, I will liquidate the rest of my position. This has been a very strong, look at the size of this move. Over 200, let me do the math. From this low 41, about 300, more than 300 points in 5 trading sessions. That's a very big move. This is not normal. It doesn't happen very often, but it's been a very good trade. Let me clear the chart. For support, like I said, for support, it would be the 50-day moving average. If we end up opening higher on the way down, which should be very reasonable to happen, I think a pause will be very logical, or a light pullback. So levels that I'll be watching will be the 50-day moving average. Another level of support will be around 4,400. If we ended up, if we end up opening much higher and then it pushes down below this so support, at that point this should be support, the 200-day moving average. I might even consider shorting. I might. It is very strong, so betting to the short side will be very risky. But if the setup is there, I will take it. I think the probabilities favor that the next 70 points will be to the downside versus the upside, especially if we open higher. I think it's either going to go south or at least east. Let's now take a look at the Nasdaq 100. For the record, I'm still long the Nasdaq 100 via TQQETF. I sold one quarter of my position, so now I only have one quarter left. I ended up selling early in the morning, around 4,200, around the same time as the S&P 500. It was around four. This one was around 14,200. Why? I thought it was done for the day. That the high for the day was already in. So I ended up liquidating quarter of my position. For Monday, what would I expect, or what would I like to see, is if we end up pushing higher, I really want to see how it handles, the 50-day moving average in this zone right here under 14,600. I think that will be very strong resistance, especially if it approaches from the bottom from here. If it gaps higher, then of course we'll see if that acts as very strong support after this big move. I mean, it's big. Look at the magnitude of this move. I think if it gaps higher, I think that's going to mark the high for at least the next following sessions. After that, I expect some type of a pullback. I would expect a light pullback based on this move. Very bullish. Either light pullback or some type of consolidation before pushing higher. But we'll play a session by session. But this one is very strong. Oh, support also, this will be very strong support. Should be very strong support. It has been in the past, so I would expect the same thing around 14,000. That was here and many times here. So very strong resistance up here and very, very strong support around this level also, which if it happens tomorrow or Monday should coincide with the 5-day and the 20-day moving average. Now for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, this one, big move also from the bottom to the high, closing very strong also, up roughly 2,000 points in 5 trading sessions. So would you expect a pullback or at least a pullback south or some type of consolidation east? I would. That would just be normal behavior. Pushing up against now be against the 200-day and the 200-day and the 100-day moving average. Would I expect that to happen on Monday? No, but anything can happen. But it has been a very strong move. So if we end up going lower from here, that's fine with me. I think that pullback or consolidation will eventually lead to higher prices. For the semiconductor index, this one, very strong move also. I push this one has is going up against very strong resistance. This pivot point around 34.50, and what is this number? Just above that. And then you have these moving averages of 50 and the 200-day. So that would be very strong resistance, especially if you try to approach it tomorrow from the bottom, from below, I should say. If we end up gapping higher, then on the way down should be very strong support. After such a big move, I would expect some type of consolidation before it pushes above this level. If it does, big gap up tomorrow, I mean Monday, I would most likely will probably fail. I don't really see after this big move up to end up consolidating around this area. So far, notice that all the moving averages, not the moving average, all the indices are coming up against very strong resistance. So I would not be surprised, like I said on Monday, if we push higher, end up gapping, opening higher to be the high for the next few trading sessions. Now for the Russell 2000, this one had a big day also. Of all the indices, this one is the, I'll say, strongest because it's over the 50. I shouldn't say that because no, take that back. It's way above the 50-day moving average. So that is a very significant, very strong uptrend. So on the way down, expect that to act as very strong support. Down here also, very strong support. I don't think we even, on a pullback, I don't think it's going to come all the way down to around this level, the 200. I think we're going to end up with some type of consolidation around the 50. That's just my guess. We'll see what happens on Monday. Now back to the S&P 500. Just want to show you a chart, a comment. This has been a very big move just to show you guys that you don't necessarily need to get the bottom to make some good profits. I didn't get the bottom. This was the bottom. I bought at the end of the day here at the end of the day. pushing up against the 10-day moving average. Based on the price action that day, I knew I had a very good chance of being able to push back above the 20-day moving average. So that's when I bought. And now it's been a very strong move, and I'm booking profits along the way. I hope some of you guys caught this move. That was a good entry point. This one also, look at the size of this move also. This big candle closing near the highs of the day, tested the 10-day and the 5-day moving average, pushing back above that and closing very strong. So that could have been either an ad or at least have some type of exposure. Anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. It's been a long video. Good luck trading on Monday.